Hey everyone, it's your host Zerts and welcome back to another video. For now who's new, my name is Zerts and I'm a gamer and a digital artist. And today I'll be checking out the new Minecraft 1.19 update. This update brought some new biomes such as the mangrove swamp pictured in the foreground over here in the game menu and the deep dark biome which has the ancient city structure in it. This update also includes some new mobs such as the frog, the ally, and the warden. And not to mention the new types of blocks and items introduced in this update. Here I am in this new creative world and now let's check this update out. First destinations, it's gonna be the mangrove swamp biome. Let's teleport there and see what's in store. Whoa, interesting! There's huge mangrove trees with giant root systems, propagules, vines, moss carpets, and the new mud blocks and muddy root blocks underneath. Dirt could be turned into mud if water is applied on it, and could be crafted into packed mud with wheat, which in turn could be crafted into mud bricks with 4 packed mud. The mangrove wood itself has a dark orangey reddish look to it. It looks like this when it's stripped, and like that in planks. Mangrove roots also have the unique property of being a waterloggable but still opaque block, which lets us build some rather interesting builds and rich stone contraptions with it. There is also a new frog mob that spawns in swamps and mangrove swamp biome. Aww, look at them. Those are such cute little fellows. These guys will wander around on land, occasionally hop around, and swim in water. They will also attack and eat small slimes and magma cubes. When consuming the latter, they'll drop a unique frog light. Frog light colors are dependent on what frog variant produces the frog light. The frog lights come in the pearlescent or purple ones drop from the warm frog, verdant or green ones drop from the cold frog, and orchard or orange ones drop from the temperate frog. When one has all the frog lights in the inventory, they'll achieve the with all our powers combined advancement. Frogs could also be led by slime balls and bred with too. Once mated, the pregnant frog will find a water block and proceed to spawn in it, which will now apply frog spawn on the chosen block. Frog spawn will take up to 10 minutes to hatch about 2 to 6 tiny little tadpoles. And like tadpoles in real life, they can't breathe on land unlike frogs and will flop around on land frantically trying to find the nearest water source block. They are also treated as a completely different mob by the game, unlike other baby mob variants, and behave like fish. And just like fish, tadpoles can be picked up in a bucket, which gives us the new bucket achievement. The tadpoles, when grown up to frogs, have a chance of becoming one of the respective color variants, which has too much explaining to do, so I'll just show everyone this chart from the Minecraft wiki. Also, when one leashes each of the frog variants, you'll get the when the squad hops to town advancement. Boats are also reworked in this update. Now players can fit a chest into any type of boat, providing more much needed storage space into this handy early game transport. And yes, there's also mangrove boats added in this update. Silly me, I almost overlooked the mangrove propagules, but either way mangrove propagules, unlike other tree saplings, grow on the mangrove trees themselves rather than having to break leaves to collect them, and they can be grown on either mud or dirt. Before leaving, it's also worth mentioning how tropical fish can spawn in this biome. Right, so that's all the mangrove swamp can offer for this update, which is already a lot. So let's head to my enemy, the Pillager's Outpost, to discover a new majestical ally mob. Here we are at the Pillager Outpost and oh dear! The poor allies are trapped in this horrible dark oak cages. Stand aside everyone, I have a rescue mission to do. And when I meant rescue mission, all I actually did is grief and demolish those Dangleberries camp to Kingdom Come and left the allies untouched. So the real rescue mission is actually just us breaking the cages the allies are trapped in. Be free, my fellow allies! So what these allies do is that when players give them an item, they'll start following them and try to find the drop versions of the same item and delivering it back to that player. They will also lock onto the player that last gave them the item, and the player will be considered their owner. They will also lock onto the player that last gave them the item, and the player will be considered their owner. Allies cannot be injured by their owners and will naturally regenerate 2 health per second when hurt. They also have this unique behavior with no blocks. If they hear a no block play, they'll spend about 30 seconds around a particular no block and drop the items they can find around it near that no block instead of their owner. An advancement involving this mechanic is the birthday song advancement, where an ally drops cake right next to a no block. But I maybe destroyed the chest within while griefing the place, but since I am in creative, that won't be a problem. The gold horns can play a unique sound when used. There's a total of 8 gold horn variants, and 4 of them which are Seek, Feel, Ponder, and Sing could be dropped when a regular gold rams a stone block, pack ice, logs or ore blocks, and can also be found in pillager outposts. Another 4 which are Admire, Call, Yearn, and Dream that can only be acquired from Screaming Goats when they ran the mentioned blocks above like goats. Gold horns have a 6-second cooldown in between usage, and so let's check all of them out. And finally, the video can't end without visiting our good friend, the Warden, and exploring the ancient cities in the new Deep Dark biome. This is the Deep Dark, and just like its name, this place is, well, very dark. There are the new decorated scope blocks that generate in this biome. Scope sensors which detect vibrations and noise and send signals when triggered. Scope catalyst which generates the scope blocks and veins when a mob that yields experience when killed dies in an 8 block radius around the scope catalyst. The scope sensors and shriekers can occasionally generate when the mob dies on the scope blocks, veins, or catalysts. When one kills a mob that yields EXP when killed near scope catalyst and spreads the scope, they'll achieve the It Spreads advancement. The scope sensors and shriekers can occasionally generate when the mob dies on the scope blocks, veins, or catalysts. Naturally world generated scope shriekers, not the ones placed by a player or generated by a scope catalyst, will produce a shrieking sound. Here it comes! Once our good friend, the Warden, is summoned, which is shown by them emerging from the ground, they'll apply the darkness effect on any unfortunate player and will proceed to find whoever caused the racket with a good sense of smell and hearing since they're as blind as a bat and mangle the heck out of them. Since I'm a coward and I do not want to use myself as a test subject to show what power this guy has, I'll just use mobs instead. This fellow hits harder than a truck and deals the highest possible amount of non-explosive mob damage and will certainly one-hit any unarmored, unfortunate victim in their path. Don't be fooled by their blindness either. They also make a really mean sniper and will emit a sonic blast with some serious range and quite high damage when the target strays away from melee reach. They also have the highest health out of all mobs in the game, which is half a thousand or 5 times of an Iron Golem or Ravager, which makes the Warden more of a threat to be avoided rather than a mighty boss to slaughter. And when managed to be slaughtered, all the Warden drops is a single scope catalyst and 5 EXP, which is really not worth the hassle to kill for anyway. While they don't discriminate against any entity that makes sounds or vibrations except for other Wardens, they do particularly have a bias against players like you and me. And when a player intervenes a Warden who is somehow engaged with a mob, the Warden will stop attacking the mob and instead will go in, swoop the player, and then only continues to go on with their business. After 60 seconds, when the Warden does not detect any entity that produces vibrations or sounds, they'll burrow back to the ground and despawn until summoned again. So that's the Warden, and finally let's head to the Ancient City. The ancient cities are big structures that can only generate in the deep dark. They can be explored to find some rare loot not found anywhere else. These ancient city structures consist of long corridors with carpets, with wool blocks around some corners to prevent vibrations, rooms resembling that of pillager outposts and woodland mansions, unique blocks like reinforced deep slate that is harder than a regular deep slate and cannot be obtained in survival, soul sand and fire, ice, some parts with skull related blocks, and even skeleton skulls, and a city center with a statue resembling the Warden's head. And since this place is located in deep dark, our good friend Mr. Warden will be happy to be your tour guide when exploring. Interestingly, underneath the frame of the city center lies a series of naturally generating redstone circuitry and contraptions. The secret entrance to the basement is located at the base of the structure underneath this wooden bridge between the city center and the wall. There's also a piston door controlled by a scope sensor in the basement's redstone circuits. The 3 redstone contraptions are a target block circuit, a lectern block circuit, and a circuit to show that some blocks that can be powered by redstone repeaters or some others can't. But I'm not really much of a redstone expert myself. So moving on to the loot this place could contain, there's the new type of enchanted book that has the new Swift Sneak enchant that makes us faster when sneaking because let's face it, we slower than sloths when we sneaking. Echo shards, which can be used to craft a recovery compass to detect where the player holding it has last died, which makes it useful if the player needs to recover their stuff after they die without keep inventory. If not, it'll be futile when the player dies in lava, the void, right next to a cactus, parkour bowl, or without any way to retrieve their stuff back or with key inventory. And if the player hasn't died, the thing will just spin around randomly. This fragment 5 which needs a total of 9 fragments of them to be crafted into this 5, which can be listened to for some lore. Other than that, there's some common stuff, which are some scope related blocks, candles, saddles, music discs, leggings, and all of that other stuff. In the ice block chest, there's ice and food related stuff like snowballs, cacti, suspicious steels, baked potatoes, and golden carrots. So that's pretty much all the update can offer. So wrapping this video up, I can conclude that this update is really packed with all sorts of interesting content for us to explore. If you all enjoyed exploring this update with me, please consider dropping a like, maybe sharing it to your mates, commenting your opinions, and most importantly, subscribe to see more from me. Help me create a Facebook group, Discord server, and Twitter community when I reach 100 subscribers. Thanks for joining me in this update exploration, and I'll see everyone in my next video. Until next time!